A poor cleaner used her last money to help an old woman buy bread. She had no idea that one small act of kindness would soon change her whole life. Who was the old woman, and what big surprise was waiting for the poor cleaner? Stay with us as we uncover this touching story and see how everything changed. Dear lovely viewers, if you enjoy the stories we share on this channel, please support us by subscribing. Your support means a lot to us. Now, let's step into this beautiful story together. The sun had barely risen over Bielsa City when the roads became busy. Inside a supermarket beside one of the busy roads, a young woman named Abike pushed a cleaning cart across one of the store's aisles. She wore a cleaner's uniform that had already become old from constant use. In her hand was a mop, and she carefully cleaned the floor while customers walked past her. Abike worked quietly. As she continued mopping, a loud voice suddenly broke the calm atmosphere inside the supermarket. "Madam, please leave this place." Abike stopped. She lifted her head. The voice had come from the cashier's counter at the front of the store. At first, she tried to ignore it and continue her work. But then, another loud voice followed. "I said leave." Many customers turned to look. Abike became curious. She slowly moved forward until she could see what was happening. When she got closer, she stopped a short distance away from the counter. There, she saw an elderly woman standing in front of the cashier. The woman looked worried. In front of her was a large loaf of bread. That was the only thing she wanted to buy. Earlier, the bread had been scanned, and the cashier had told her the price. The elderly woman had immediately reached for her purse. But when she checked, it was nowhere to be found. Panic appeared on her face. She checked every pocket she had. Nothing. She even walked back a little to see if she had dropped it somewhere. Still nothing. Now the line behind her was getting longer. Several customers were waiting. Some were already becoming impatient. The cashier folded her arms. Her face showed that she had completely lost patience. "Madam, if you cannot pay, please leave," the cashier said. The elderly woman looked troubled. "My daughter, please give me a moment. I think I misplaced my purse," she replied. "That is not my problem," the cashier said. "People are waiting." The elderly woman looked embarrassed as several customers stared at her. "I thought I came with my purse," she tried to explain, but the cashier interrupted. "If you knew you could not afford bread, why did you come here in the first place?" the cashier asked. The words hurt the elderly woman deeply. "My daughter, it is not like that. Let me explain," she said. But the cashier was no longer interested in listening. "Take your leave. You are delaying everybody," the cashier said. "My daughter," the elderly woman began. "Woman, leave before I call security," the cashier said loudly. Now, the cashier's voice echoed through the supermarket. The noise immediately caught the attention of the manager. He quickly walked toward the counter. "What is going on here?" the manager asked. The cashier pointed at the elderly woman. "Sir, this woman cannot pay for the bread. I've asked her to leave several times, but she is refusing," the cashier replied. The manager turned to the elderly woman. The elderly woman tried to speak. "My son, Do you have money to pay for the bread?" the manager interrupted. The elderly woman lowered her eyes. "No, I don't, but—" "Then leave immediately," the manager said firmly. The elderly woman tried once more. "Please, if you can just allow me to explain." "There is nothing to explain," the manager replied. Several customers continued watching. Some said nothing. Others quietly whispered among themselves. The manager turned toward the security guards. "Escort her out," he ordered. Immediately, 2 security guards began walking toward the elderly woman. The old woman stood there helplessly. It seemed nobody wanted to hear her side of the story. The guards were only a few steps away when suddenly a voice stopped them. "Wait, please," someone said. Everyone turned. The guards stopped walking. Standing there was Abike. For a moment, nobody spoke. Many people looked at her. It was obvious she was struggling to survive herself. Abike walked toward the elderly woman. "Good morning, Ma," she said politely. "Good morning, my daughter," the elderly woman replied. Abika then turned to the cashier. "How much is the bread?" she asked. The cashier told her the amount. For a few seconds, Abika said nothing. Slowly, she reached into her pocket and brought out all the money she had. Every note. She counted it silently. The moment she did, she understood what it meant. If she paid for the bread, most of the money she had left would be gone. She looked at the money, then she looked at the elderly woman. The woman's eyes were filled with worry. Abika did not say another word. She stretched out her hand and gave the money to the cashier. The cashier looked surprised. Even the manager looked at her. Abika could have used that money for herself, yet she was giving it away. The cashier collected the money. A few moments later, she packed the bread and handed it over. Abika collected it and turned toward the elderly woman. "You paid for it?" the elderly woman asked in disbelief. "Yes, Ma," Abika replied with a gentle smile. "Please take it." For a moment, the elderly woman could not speak. "Thank you," she finally said. "You are welcome," Abika replied. Soon, Abike led the elderly woman toward the exit. As they walked, the elderly woman kept thanking her. "My daughter, thank you very much," she said. Abika smiled. "You saved me from great embarrassment today." "Please don't worry about it," Abika replied. "Very few people would have done what you just did," the elderly woman said. "It is all right, Ma," Abika answered with a gentle smile. The elderly woman looked at her carefully. "What is your name?" she asked. "My name is Abike," she replied. "Abike," the elderly woman repeated slowly, as if she wanted to remember it. Then she smiled. "My name is Machibaram." "It is nice to meet you, Machibaram," Abike said. Machibaram smiled. "You can go home now, Ma," Abike said. "Thank you once again, my daughter," Machibaram replied. After saying goodbye, Machibaram walked away. Abike immediately turned back toward the supermarket. As soon as the elderly woman was gone, the manager faced the customers. "We apologize for the delay," he said. After that, he turned toward the workers. Everyone should return to work. The cashier returned to her station. Abika started walking back toward her cleaning cart. Then the cashier spoke. "You have just wasted money you should have kept for yourself," she said. Abiki stopped and looked at her. "Honestly, you needed that money more than she did," the cashier continued. "It's fine," Abika replied. That was all she said. Then she returned to her cleaning cart and continued working. Hours later, the lunch break finally arrived. Many workers bought food. Abika sat quietly by herself. Then her stomach began to hurt from hunger. She placed a hand on it. The truth was simple. After paying for the bread, she barely had any money left. She checked her pocket. Only a little change remained. Not enough for food. Not even close. The only thing she could afford was a bottle of water. After sitting quietly for some time, she stood up and went to buy one. A few minutes later, she sat down with only the bottle of water. She took a small sip. She was hungry, but she did not regret helping the old woman. The only thing she disliked was the hunger she was feeling. Still, she comforted herself. The day would soon be over. When she got home, she would eat. So she sat there quietly, drinking water and waiting for the day to end. What Abeke did not know was that the small sacrifice she had made that morning was about to change her life in a way she could never have imagined. Later that evening, Abika stepped out of the supermarket and began walking home. The sun was already going down. People were returning home after a long day of work. Abika walked quietly by the roadside. She was tired, very tired. The hunger she had been fighting since afternoon was still there, but she kept moving. The truth was that Abeke was barely surviving. 2 years earlier, she had graduated from the university with big dreams. She had believed that after graduation, she would quickly find a good job and help her mother, her only surviving family. But things had not happened that way. She had searched everywhere, She submitted applications. She attended interviews. She waited for calls that never came. Months passed, nothing changed. The bills continued to grow. The little savings they had slowly disappeared. Eventually, Abeke ran out of options. That was how she accepted a job as a cleaner at the supermarket. The pay was small, but it was better than having nothing at all. After walking for some time, she finally arrived home. The apartment she shared with her mother was located in a quiet part of the city. It was a place where many struggling families lived. The building was old. The walls showed signs of age. Inside, there was very little furniture. As soon as Abeke entered, her mother looked up. "Abeke, you are back," Abeke's mother said with a warm smile. "Yes, Mama," Abeke replied. Her mother immediately noticed something. Her daughter did not look well. She looked weak. She looked exhausted. "Come and sit down," her mother said. Abeke slowly sat beside her. Her mother studied her face for a moment. Then she frowned. "What happened?" she asked. "You look very weak." Abeke hesitated for a few seconds. Then she answered honestly. "I've been hungry since afternoon." Her mother looked surprised. "Hungry?" she asked. "Yes, Mama." "But didn't you go for your lunch break?" her mother asked. "I did. I only bought water." Her mother looked even more confused. "I thought you had some money with you before you left for work," she said. "What happened?" Abeke let out a small sigh. Then she began telling her mother everything that had happened at the supermarket. She told her about the elderly woman. She told her about the cashier. She told her about the manager. And finally, she explained how she had used almost all her money to buy the bread. When she finished speaking, the room became quiet. For a few moments, her mother simply looked at her daughter. Then she gently held Abeke's hands. "What you did was good," her mother said softly. Abeke looked at her. "You helped someone who was in need." A small smile appeared on Abeke's face. "But now you are hungry because of it," her mother added, teasing her. Abeke tried to smile. "It is all right, Mama." Her mother slowly stood up from her chair. The moment Abeke saw her struggling, she quickly stood. "Mama, let me help you," she said. But her mother smiled weakly. "I will be fine," she replied. Then she gently touched her daughter's arm. "Sit down, let me get you something to eat." Abeke slowly sat back down. As she watched her mother walk toward the kitchen, sadness filled her heart. Her mother had not always been this weak. For many years, she had worked tirelessly to make sure her daughter stayed in school. She had sacrificed so much. She had gone through years of stress and hardship, and little by little, it had affected her health. Recently, she had become too weak to work. Now, the responsibility of taking care of the home rested completely on Abeke. The young woman watched her mother disappear into the kitchen. Then she let out a deep breath. More than anything, she wanted a better life for her mother. She wanted her to rest. She wanted her to be comfortable. She wanted her to stop worrying about money. But right now, she could barely provide enough for both of them. Still, she held on to hope. One day, things would get better. At least, that was what she prayed for. Meanwhile, not too far away from the supermarket, dinner was being served inside a magnificent mansion. The house belonged to a well-known billionaire named Ms. Dabota, CEO of the biggest real estate company in the city. Inside the large dining room, Ms. Dabota sat at the dining table with her mother, Machi Baram. Servants moved quietly around them as food was placed on the table. As they ate, Machi Baram suddenly spoke. "Something happened to me this morning," she said. Dabota looked up immediately. "What happened, Mama?" she asked. Machi Baram put down her spoon. Then she began telling her daughter the story. Earlier that morning, Dabota's driver had been scheduled to take one of the family cars for servicing. Before doing so, he was supposed to drive Machi Baram to the supermarket and bring her back home. However, Machi Baram had told him not to wait. The supermarket was very close. Machibaram explained. I only wanted to buy bread. Dabota listened quietly. I told him to go ahead with the car. Machibaram continued. He left after dropping me off. Then she sighed. Neither of us knew that I had accidentally left my purse inside the car. I only realized after I got to the cashier. Then she began describing everything that happened afterward. She told her daughter how the cashier had treated her. She told her how nobody wanted to listen. She described how embarrassed she felt as people stared at her. She explained how the manager had refused to hear her explanation. She even told her how security guards had almost escorted her out. The more Dabota listened, the darker her face became. For a moment, Dabota said nothing, then anger filled her face. How dare they humiliate my mother like that? She said angrily. Machibaram looked at her calmly, but she was not even thinking about the embarrassment. Instead, she was thinking about Abeke. I am not angry, Machibaram said softly. I am simply grateful that the young woman helped me. Dabota listened carefully. Machibaram described Abeke. She described her uniform, how tired she looked. She described how she had stood there staring at her money for a long time before finally giving it to the cashier. It was obvious she was struggling herself, Machibaram said, yet she still paid for my bread. She paused. Then she added quietly, I was never given the chance to properly thank her. Dabota became silent. As she imagined the entire situation, she found herself thinking about Abeke, a young woman who clearly had very little but still chose kindness. Slowly, a thought entered Dabota's mind. Maybe she should find her. Maybe she should help her. But life has a strange way of working. Sometimes, while one person is making plans to improve your life, another person is making plans to destroy it. At that very moment, somewhere else in the city, the supermarket manager was driving home alone. He had finished closing the supermarket after his usual inspections. Now he was heading home. As he drove, he thought about the events of the day. Then his face hardened. Suddenly, he remembered Abeke. The memory irritated him. The more he thought about it, the more annoyed he became. To him, Abeke's actions had been disrespectful. Is she questioning my authority? He thought. His hands tightened around the steering wheel. I was already handling the situation. He frowned. I was making the decisions. His annoyance continued growing. Yet she stepped in and did what she wanted. The manager became quiet for a moment. Then another thought entered his mind. A slow smile appeared on his face. I know exactly what to do, he said to himself. The smile remained on his face as he continued driving. The next morning, something was going to happen, something that could change everything. The next morning, the manager arrived at the supermarket earlier than usual. He moved around the place like someone waiting for Abeke. After some time, the doors opened. Abeke walked in. The moment she stepped inside, she heard her name. Abeke! She stopped. She turned toward the voice. It was the manager. He was standing near the front area. He looked very serious. Come to my office, the manager said. Then he turned and walked away without waiting for her reply. Abeke stood still for a moment. She was confused. Her heart felt heavy, but she tried to stay calm. She slowly followed him. When she reached the office, she stopped at the door for a short moment. Then she stepped inside. The manager was already seated. He looked at her with a hard face. Abeke opened her mouth. Before she could say anything, he reached out his hand. He handed her a white envelope. You are suspended indefinitely, he said. Abeke froze in shock. She looked at the envelope. Then she looked at him. For a moment, she could not speak. Finally, she found her voice. Sir, what did I do wrong? She asked, still in shock. The manager leaned back slightly. Then he began to speak. You were insubordinate, he said. You interfered with the decision I was making during work. Abeke looked confused. He continued, Yesterday, during the incident with the elderly woman, I was already handling the situation. But you stepped in. You paid for the bread." The manager's tone stayed cold. "You undermined my authority. You disrupted company rules." He paused. Then he added, "This kind of behavior is not allowed here." Abeka stood still. Her hands slowly dropped to her sides. Her eyes became wet. "Sir, I was only trying to help," she said quietly. The manager did not answer that. Instead, he simply said, "You are suspended, indefinitely." Abeka's lips trembled. She stepped forward a little. "Please, sir," she said. Then she suddenly knelt down. "Please, I beg you, do not do this to me," she said. "I need this job. I have a sick mother at home." Her voice broke as she spoke, but the manager remained still. His face did not change. "I have made my decision," he said. Abeka stayed on her knees for a moment. She looked up at him, hoping he would change his mind, but nothing changed. Slowly, she stood up. She wiped her face. Then she turned around and walked out of the office. Her steps were slow. Abeka felt like her world had stopped. Soon, she walked along the roadside slowly. After a while, she could not go any farther. She sat down by the side of the road. Her back rested against a low wall. Her mind was full of worry. How would she feed her mother? How would she pay the rent? How would they survive now? Tears began to fall. She quickly wiped them away, but they kept coming. She sat there for a long time. People passed by, but no one stopped. After a while, she slowly stood up. She breathed in deeply. Then she started walking home. Each step felt heavier than the last, but she kept going. She had no other choice. 2 days later, the atmosphere inside the supermarket was suddenly interrupted by the sound of vehicles pulling up outside. Several workers looked up immediately. Customers near the entrance also turned to see what was happening. Outside, a luxurious car had stopped in front of the supermarket. Right behind it was a black security SUV. The sight alone was enough to attract attention. People began looking through the glass doors and windows. A few seconds later, the doors of the luxury car opened. A well-dressed woman stepped out. Immediately, the workers recognized her. Their eyes widened. "It is Miss Dabota," someone whispered. The news spread quickly through the supermarket. Almost everyone knew who Miss Dabota was. She was one of the richest women in the city. In fact, her businesses could be found across different states in the country. Many people had seen her on television. Many had heard stories about her success. As people continued watching, another person stepped out of the vehicle. It was an elderly woman. She walked beside Miss Dabota as they headed toward the entrance. At first, nobody paid much attention to her. Then suddenly, a few workers looked again. Their expressions changed immediately. They recognized her. It was the same elderly woman who had come to buy bread a few days earlier, the same woman who had been unable to pay. For a moment, nobody could believe what they were seeing. "Isn't that the elderly woman from that day?" one worker asked. "I think it is," another replied. "But what is she doing with Ms. Dabota?" The questions continued. The confusion continued. Soon, Ms. Dabota and Ma Chibaram entered the supermarket. People immediately began greeting them. "Good morning, Ma." "Welcome, Ma." "Good morning, Ms. Dabota." Ms. Dabota acknowledged them politely as she continued walking. Ma Chibaram remained beside her. Neither of them stopped. Instead, they walked directly toward the cashier's counter. The cashier looked up. The moment she saw who was standing before her, her face changed. For a few seconds, she could not even speak. Standing in front of her was a famous billionaire she had only ever seen on television. Standing beside that billionaire was the same elderly woman she had spoken to harshly just days earlier. The cashier felt completely confused. How could this be possible? How could the woman she thought could not afford bread be standing beside Ms. Dabota? Quickly, she forced a smile. "Good morning, Ma," the cashier said nervously. Then Ms. Dabota looked at the cashier and asked, "We came to see one of your staff members. Her name is Abeka. Is she available?" The cashier looked surprised. Of all the questions she expected, that was not one of them. "Abeke?" she asked. "Yes," Ms. Dabota replied. The cashier hesitated briefly. "She was suspended 2 days ago," she answered. Ms. Dabota's face became serious. "Suspended?" she asked. "Yes, Ma." "Do you know why?" The cashier quickly replied. "No, Ma, I do not know the reason." Ms. Dabota looked at her for a moment. Then she asked, "Where is the manager's office?" The cashier immediately pointed toward the office area. "It is over there, Ma." Ms. Dabota and Ma Chibaram turned and walked together in that direction. A few moments later, Ms. Dabota and Ma Chibaram arrived outside the office. Ms. Dabota raised her hand and knocked. "Come in," the manager said from inside. The door opened. The manager looked up. The moment he saw who had entered, he froze. His eyes moved from Ms. Dabota to Ma Chibaram. Immediately he recognized the elderly woman. It was the same woman he had almost thrown out of the supermarket. Then he looked at Ms. Dabota again. The resemblance between them was impossible to miss. At that moment, everything became clear. The elderly woman was Ms. Dabota's mother. Fear settled inside him. Quickly, he forced a smile. "Ms. Dabota," he said. "What an honor." He stood up immediately. "Please sit down." But Ms. Dabota politely refused. "There will be no need for that," she said. The manager slowly lowered himself back into his chair. Ms. Dabota looked directly at him. "We came to ask about Abeke," she said. The manager felt even more uncomfortable. He tried not to show it. "Yes," he replied. "She was suspended 2 days ago." Before Ms. Dabota could speak again, Ma Chibaram looked at him. "I hope her suspension was not connected to the fact that she helped me that day," she said. The manager almost stopped breathing. The question hit him directly. For a moment, he did not know what to say. It felt as though she had looked inside his mind. "No," he replied quickly. "Not at all." Then he cleared his throat. Abeke was suspended because she was insubordinate. He continued speaking. "She violated company rules. I have a responsibility to maintain order among employees. Disciplinary actions are sometimes necessary." Ms. Dabota asked another question. "Can you provide Abeke's home address?" The manager hesitated. Immediately, he knew where the conversation was going. Unfortunately for him, he also knew that he did not want them finding Abeke. "I do not have her address," he replied. Ms. Dabota looked at him carefully. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Then her voice became firm. "Are you telling me that when you employed your workers, you did not collect their basic information?" she asked. The manager immediately realized his mistake. There was no good answer to that question. Trying to correct himself, he quickly spoke. "My apologies. I simply forgot." He stood up immediately. Then he walked toward a shelf filled with employee records. He searched through several files. After a while, he found Abeke's file. He opened it, then he copied the address onto a piece of paper. Returning to the desk, he handed it to Ms. Dabota. "Here it is," he said. Ms. Dabota collected the paper. A few moments later, she and Ma Chibaram prepared to leave. The manager quickly stood again. Before they could reach the door, he spoke. "Ma Chibaram, I'm very sorry about what happened that day." The elderly woman turned to look at him. "It was simply a misunderstanding," the manager continued. Ma Chibaram studied him quietly. Then she spoke. "It is a bad thing to judge people because of how they look or how they appear." The manager forced a small smile. Then Ma Chibaram looked directly into his eyes. "Tell me honestly," she said. The smile slowly disappeared from his face. "Are you apologizing because you genuinely mean it?" She paused briefly. "Or because you just found out that Ms. Dabota is my daughter?" The manager opened his mouth. He was clearly searching for an answer. Perhaps he was about to explain. Perhaps he was about to defend himself. But before he could say anything, Ms. Dabota spoke. "We should be leaving now," she said. She gently touched her mother's arm. Together, They turned and walked out of the office. The manager remained where he was, silent, unable to answer the question. Not long after they left, the news spread through the supermarket. Workers gathered in small groups. Everyone was talking. "Did you hear? The old woman is Ms. Dabota's mother." I still cannot believe it. The discussions continued. Many workers remembered exactly what had happened that day. They remembered how nobody had listened to the elderly woman. They remembered how quickly people had judged her. The entire revelation left them stunned. Outside the supermarket, Ms. Dabota and Machibaram walked toward their vehicles. As they approached the luxury car, Ms. Dabota checked the time. Then she looked at her mother. "I have an important meeting in 30 minutes, she said. Machibaram listened. Ms. Dabota continued, "We now have Abike's address. We can visit her another day. I will drop you at home first and then head to my office." Machibaram looked at her. "Are you sure you will still make it on time?" she asked. Ms. Dabota smiled. "The house is not far from here," she replied. "I still have enough time." Machibaram smiled. A few moments later, they entered the vehicle. Then the luxury car and the security SUV slowly pulled away from the supermarket. It had been over a week since Abike was suspended from work. Since that day, she had remained at home. Every morning, she hoped her phone would ring. Every time it rang, she quickly checked the screen, but it was never the supermarket. Days passed. No call came. The pressure of paying bills continued to grow. Rent was waiting. Food was becoming scarce. Her mother's medicine also had to be bought. Each passing day made her worry even more. That morning, Abike sat in front of their small apartment, washing clothes inside a large plastic basin. Her hands were busy, but her mind was somewhere else. She was beginning to accept something she did not want to believe. Maybe the supermarket was never going to call her back. She stopped washing for a moment. Then she looked down at the water. Perhaps it was time to chase her old dream again. Before accepting the cleaning job, she had always wanted to work in a company, a proper office job, the kind of job she had gone to university for. She had almost given up on that dream, but maybe this was the time to try again. "I will prepare several copies of my CV," she quietly said to herself. "I will begin submitting them again." Even though she did not know what would happen, she refused to stop hoping. Just then, the quiet morning was interrupted. She heard the sound of approaching vehicles. Curious, she looked toward the entrance of the compound. A few seconds later, a luxurious car slowly entered. Right behind it came a black security SUV. Both vehicles finally stopped. Abike stared in surprise. The cars looked far too expensive for a place like this. People from nearby apartments slowly stepped outside to see what was happening. Before Abike could understand what was happening, the doors of the security SUV opened. Several men dressed in black suits stepped out. One of the security men walked to the luxury car. He respectfully opened the rear door. Abike watched quietly. Then someone stepped out. The moment she saw the woman, her eyes became wide. It was Ms. Dabota. For a few seconds, Abike simply stood there. She could hardly believe what she was seeing. Ms. Dabota, the famous billionaire, the successful businesswoman she had only ever seen on television. What is Ms. Dabota doing here? Abike wondered. Who could she possibly be looking for? Before she could think any further, another security officer opened the second rear door. Another person stepped out. The moment Abike saw her face, she became even more shocked. It was Machibaram, the same elderly woman she had helped at the supermarket. Abike looked from Machibaram to Ms. Dabota, then back again. She studied their faces carefully. Suddenly, she noticed something. They looked alike, very much alike. Everything became clear. They were related. Before Abike could say anything, Machibaram quickly walked toward her. The elderly woman smiled warmly. Then she gave Abike a gentle hug. "My daughter," Machibaram said happily. "It is so good to see you again." Abike smiled nervously. It is good to see you too, Ma. Ma Chibaram held both of Abeke's hands. I have been looking for you, she said. I never had the chance to properly thank you for what you did that day. Abeke smiled. There is no need to thank me again, Ma. Oh, there is every reason, Ma Chibaram replied. You helped me at a time when I was about to be greatly embarrassed. I will never forget that. She paused for a moment before continuing. I even went to look for you at the supermarket. They said you had been suspended, but they did not give us a clear reason. I hope it was not because you helped me that day. Abeke looked surprised. Yes, Ma, that was the reason, she said. Ma Chibaram smiled gently. Then I truly need to thank you properly and also apologize for the trouble I caused you. Abeke smiled. There is no need to do that, Ma. I simply did what I needed to do to help someone in need. It was the right thing to do. Then Ma Chibaram turned toward Ms. Debota. This is my daughter, she said. Abeke immediately smiled. Everyone knows Ms. Debota, she replied shyly. The three women laughed together. Ms. Debota stepped closer. She looked at Abeke with kindness. My mother has told me everything, Ms. Debota said. Thank you for helping her. Abeke quickly lowered her eyes. I only did what I felt was right, she replied. Just then, the front door of the apartment opened. Abeke's mother slowly came outside. She had been resting inside but had heard voices. The moment she stepped outside, she stopped. She looked at the visitors. Then she looked again. She could hardly believe her eyes. Standing in front of her house was Ms. Debota. Quickly, she greeted her. Good morning, Ma. Good morning, Ms. Debota replied politely. Her mother then looked at her daughter. Abeke, she said. What is happening here? Abeke smiled. Mama, do you remember the elderly woman I told you about? Yes, her mother replied. This is Ma Chibaram. Abeke's mother smiled warmly. Then Abeke continued. She is Ms. Debota's mother. For a moment, her mother could not speak. She looked at Ma Chibaram. Then she looked at Ms. Debota. Finally, she understood why they looked so much alike. Ms. Debota smiled. I actually wanted to spend more time, she said, but I have a very busy schedule. She reached into her handbag. Then she brought out one of her complimentary cards. She handed it to Abeke. Please call this number, Ms. Debota said. We will arrange a proper meeting. Abeke carefully collected the card. She held it as though it was something very precious. Thank you very much, Ma, she said. I truly appreciate this. You deserve it, Ms. Debota replied. Ma Chibaram smiled. Thank you once again, my daughter, she said. You are welcome, Ma, Abeke replied. After talking for a few more minutes, Ms. Debota and Ma Chibaram returned to their vehicles. The security officers entered the SUV. Soon, both vehicles drove out of the compound. Abeke and her mother remained standing outside. They watched until the vehicles disappeared from sight. Then they slowly looked at each other. Neither of them could believe what had just happened. Who would have imagined that the elderly woman who could not pay for a loaf of bread was actually the mother of the famous Ms. Debota? Abeke remembered that day inside the supermarket. Nobody had allowed Ma Chibaram to explain herself. Instead, everyone had judged her because of the way she appeared. Thinking about it now, everything felt different. Abeke's mother smiled gently as she looked at her daughter. You see now, she said. Abeke looked at her. Kindness is always a good thing. Abeke smiled. So it is, Mama. The two of them stood there quietly. Neither of them knew that this visit was only the beginning. The biggest surprise of Abeke's life was still waiting just ahead. About 2 weeks later, a meeting was finally arranged between Ms. Debota and Abeke. After receiving Ms. Debota's complimentary card, Abeke had called the number as she was instructed. Ms. Debota had a very busy schedule. Because of that, it took some time before she found a free day for them to meet. Finally, the day arrived. That morning, Abeke woke up very early. She carefully picked the best clothes she owned. They were simple clothes, but they were clean and neatly ironed. She wanted to make a good impression. After getting dressed, she walked into the sitting room where her mother was waiting. Abeke's mother smiled when she saw her daughter. "You look beautiful," Abeke's mother said. "Thank you, Mama," Abeke replied with a smile. Abeke's mother slowly stood up. She placed her hands gently on Abeke's shoulders and prayed for her. After the prayer, Abeke's mother smiled. "Go with confidence." "I will, Mama," Abeke replied. She hugged her mother gently. Then she left the house. Not long afterward, Abeke arrived at the head office of Ms. Debota's company. The moment she stood in front of the building, she stopped walking. She looked up. The building was large. It was beautiful. The glass walls reflected the morning sunlight. Everything about the place looked important. Abeke suddenly became nervous. She took a deep breath. Then she quietly encouraged herself. "You can do this," she whispered. Slowly, she walked toward the main gate. A security guard stopped her politely. "Good morning," the security guard said. "Good morning," Abeke replied. "How may I help you?" the guard asked. "I have an appointment with Ms. Debota," Abeke answered. The security guard looked at her kindly. "What is your name?" he asked. "My name is Abeke." "Please wait a moment," the guard said. He walked into the security office and made a confirmation call. Abeke waited quietly. A few minutes later, the guard returned with a smile. "You have been cleared," the security guard said. "You may go in." "Thank you very much," Abeke replied. She walked into the company compound. As she made her way toward the building, she looked around. The compound was spotless. Everything looked well arranged. She quietly admired what she was seeing. Soon, she entered the main office building. The moment she stepped inside, she looked around in amazement. The reception area was beautiful. The offices looked modern. Workers moved from one office to another with confidence. Everyone looked busy and professional. Abeke admired the environment. She could not help imagining what it would be like to work in a place like this. After receiving directions, she walked toward Ms. Debota's office. When she reached the door, she gently knocked. "Come in," Ms. Debota said from inside. Abeke opened the door and entered. "Good morning, Ma," Abeke said respectfully. Ms. Debota smiled warmly. "Good morning, Abeke." Then she smiled again. "Please don't be too formal." Abeke smiled nervously. "Yes, Ma." Ms. Debota pointed toward a chair. "Please have a seat." "Thank you, Ma," Abeke replied. She carefully sat down. Ms. Debota looked at her quietly for a few moments. Then she began speaking. "I wanted us to meet because I wanted to thank you properly for what you did for my mother." Abeke smiled gently. Ms. Debota continued. "My mother has not stopped talking about you. Almost every day she reminds me about the kindness you showed her. She keeps asking me to help you." She paused for a moment. "To be honest, I'm also very impressed. You were going through your own struggles, yet you still chose to help someone else." Abeke smiled. Then she quietly replied, "I grew up believing that kindness is never wasted." Ms. Debota listened carefully. "My mother always taught me something," Abeke continued. "She said whenever you have the chance to help someone, you should do it. One act of kindness can change someone's day." She smiled softly. "It can even change someone's life." She paused before adding, "Whether anyone pays you back or not, doing good is always the right thing." Ms. Debota looked at her with admiration. The young woman sitting before her spoke with honesty. She could tell those words came from Abeke's heart. After a few moments, Ms. Debota asked, "Did you go to school?" "Yes, Ma," Abeke replied. "I'm a university graduate." Ms. Debota looked pleasantly surprised. "Really?" she asked. "Yes, Ma." Ms. Debota smiled with interest. "Tell me about yourself." Abeke took a small breath before answering. "My mother worked very hard to make sure I finished school. For many years, she did everything she could. She sacrificed so much for me. Her smile slowly disappeared. But after I graduated, the years of hard work and old age began to affect her health. She became too weak to continue working, so I became the one taking care of the house. Ms. Dabota listened without interrupting. I searched for jobs related to what I studied, Abika continued. I submitted many applications. I attended interviews, but nothing worked. After some time, we needed money just to survive. So I accepted a job as a cleaner at the supermarket. She became quiet for a moment. Then she added, "But I was recently suspended indefinitely." Ms. Dabota felt deeply touched by everything she had heard. She remained silent for a few seconds. Then a gentle smile appeared on her face. "Please submit your CV to me," she said. Abike looked at her in surprise. Ms. Dabota continued, "I have several branches across the country. I will personally find a position that matches your qualifications." For a moment, Abike could not speak. Her eyes slowly filled with tears. She had been searching for an opportunity like this for a very long time. "Thank you so much, Ma," she finally said. "I truly don't know what to say." Ms. Dabota smiled warmly. "You do not need to say much," she continued. "Your kindness is simply being rewarded. You also worked hard for your university degree. You deserve the chance to use it. You deserve the chance to build a better life. And you deserve the chance to take good care of your mother." Abika gently wiped the tears from her eyes. "Thank you, Ma," she said again. "I will never forget this." The two women spoke for a few more minutes. Finally, Abika stood up. "Thank you once again for everything," she said. Ms. Dabota smiled. "You will get a call very soon." "I look forward to that day," Abike replied. She thanked Ms. Dabota once more before quietly leaving the office. As she walked out of the building, she could not stop smiling. For the first time in many months, she felt something she had almost forgotten: hope. Little did she know that an even bigger surprise was already waiting for her. A few weeks passed. Life continued quietly for Abike and her mother. Every day they hoped the phone would ring. Every day they waited for good news, but no call came. Still, they refused to lose hope. Ever since Abike met Miss Dabota, she believed something good would happen. She simply did not know when. As the days passed, she had completely forgotten about the supermarket. She no longer expected them to call her back. Her mind was now focused on moving forward. That afternoon, Abika and her mother were sitting together inside their small apartment. Just then, Abike's phone began to ring. Both of them looked at it. It was an unknown number. Abika looked at her mother. "I wonder who this is," she said. "Answer it," Abika's mother replied. Abika quickly answered the call. "Hello, good afternoon," Abika said politely. A calm female voice spoke from the other end. "Good afternoon. Am I speaking with Miss Abika?" "Yes, this is Abiki speaking," she replied. "Thank you," the caller said. "I'm calling from the Human Resources Department of one of the branches of Dabota Group of Companies." The moment Abika heard the company's name, she sat up properly. Her heart became filled with hope. The woman continued speaking. "I am pleased to inform you that your employment application has been approved. You have been offered a position in our company." Abika covered her mouth with one hand. For a moment, she could hardly believe what she was hearing. The HR officer continued. "You are required to visit our office tomorrow to collect your offer letter and complete the necessary employment documentation. We will also brief you on your role and your resumption date." Abika quickly found her voice. "Thank you very much," she said happily. "I will be there." "Very well," the HR officer replied. "I will send you the office address and your reporting time by text message immediately after this call. Please ensure you arrive on time." "I will," Abika replied. "Thank you once again." "You are welcome," the HR officer said. The call ended. For a few seconds, Abika simply stared at her phone. She could not believe it. Her eyes slowly filled with tears. Abike's mother looked at her with concern. "My daughter," she asked. "What did they say?" Abike looked at her mother. A big smile appeared on her face. "Mama," she said softly. It was the Human Resources Department from one of Miss Dabota's company branches. Abike's mother quickly moved closer. "What did they say?" she asked again. "They have employed me," Abike replied. "They asked me to come tomorrow and collect my offer letter." For a moment, Abike's mother could not speak. She simply looked at her daughter. Then tears slowly filled her eyes. "They employed you?" she asked. "Yes, Mama," Abike replied. "I got the job." The two women smiled through their tears. Abike's mother lifted both hands toward the ceiling. "God bless Ms. Dabota," she said. "May God continue to bless her for remembering my daughter." "Amen," Abike replied. The next moment, mother and daughter pulled each other into a warm embrace. For a very long time they had struggled together. Now, at last, the door had opened. They both knew one thing. No matter what position Abike had been given, working in one of Ms. Dabota's companies would completely change their lives. The salary alone would be far better than what she had earned as a cleaner at the supermarket. For the first time in a long while, the future looked bright. Later that evening, Abike opened her small wardrobe. She carefully looked through her clothes. She selected her neatest corporate outfit. After laying everything out carefully, she made sure nothing was missing. She checked the message containing the company address and the time she was expected to arrive. The company branch was quite far from where they lived. She knew she would have to leave home very early. That night, she ate dinner with a smile on her face. Even Abike's mother looked happier than she had been in many months. Tomorrow was going to be the beginning of a brand new chapter in her life. With that happy thought, she lay down and slept early, eager for the morning to come. Little did she know that what was waiting for her at the company was far bigger than she had imagined. The next morning, Abike woke up before sunrise. She had hardly slept during the night. Every time she closed her eyes, she remembered the phone call from the Human Resources Department. Today was the day. She quickly got dressed in the corporate clothes she had prepared the previous evening. She stepped out of the house and began her journey. The company branch was quite far from where they lived. Because of that, she left very early. After a long journey, she finally arrived at the company. When she looked around, she realized she had arrived before the company officially opened for the day. The security guards on the morning shift were just taking over duty. One of them walked toward her. "Good morning," the security guard said politely. "Good morning," Abike replied. "How may I help you?" "I was asked to report to the Human Resources Department today," Abike explained. The security guard asked for her name. "My name is Abike. Please wait a moment," the guard said. He made a few calls to confirm her appointment. After confirming her name, he smiled. "You may wait inside the reception area." "Thank you," Abike replied. She walked into the building. The reception area was still quiet because work had not fully started. She took a seat and waited. As she sat there, her eyes moved around the building. Everything looked beautiful. The offices were well arranged. The air inside the building felt cool and comfortable. Abike smiled to herself. She still could not believe she had finally gotten a job in a company like this. Even though she was happy, she was also a little nervous. She wondered what the offer letter would contain. After waiting for some time, one of the reception staff walked toward her. "The Human Resources office is now open," the receptionist said. "Thank you," Abike replied. The receptionist described the direction to the office. Abike thanked her once again and followed the directions. A few moments later, she arrived. She gently knocked on the door. "Please come in," a voice said. Abike entered. She saw a middle-aged man sitting behind a desk. "Good morning, sir," Abike greeted politely. The man smiled warmly. "Good morning. You must be Miss Abike." "Yes, sir." "Please have a seat." "Thank you, sir." She sat down quietly. The HR manager picked up a brown envelope from his desk. "This is your employment offer letter," the HR manager said. "Congratulations and welcome to Debota Group of Companies." "Thank you very much, sir," Abike replied. She carefully collected the envelope. Slowly, she opened it. She began reading every page carefully. As she continued reading, something suddenly caught her attention. She stopped. Then she read the same line again. Her eyes became wide. Then she looked up at the HR manager. "Sir," Abike said slowly, "I think I may have read this wrongly." The HR manager smiled. "What did you see?" "It says, 'The company is providing me with a house,'" she replied. The HR manager smiled again. "Yes," he replied, "it is correct." Abike looked down at the letter again. She could hardly believe it. "A house?" she asked quietly. "Yes," the HR manager replied. "To be honest, I was also surprised." Abike looked at him. The HR manager continued. "Normally, this position comes with very good benefits, but a house is not one of them." He paused for a moment. "It was Ms. Debota herself who specifically instructed us to include it." Abike was speechless. The HR manager pointed gently at the letter. "There are other benefits listed there as well." Abike continued reading. She saw transport allowance. She saw housing allowance. She saw other company benefits. Each one was much bigger than anything she had ever imagined. Then she reached the salary. She could hardly believe her eyes. The monthly salary was many times anything she could ever think of. She had never imagined that one day she would receive such an enormous amount. As she continued reading, tears slowly filled her eyes. Before she realized it, tears were already falling onto the letter. The HR manager quietly watched her. Unable to control her emotions, Abike slowly went down on her knees. "Thank you so much, sir," she said through tears. The HR manager quickly stood up. "No, please," he said kindly. "You do not need to thank me." He smiled. "If anyone deserves your thanks, it is Ms. Debota. Everything you are seeing in that letter came because of her." He continued, "And to be honest, the position you have been given is not a position normally offered to someone without experience. It is usually reserved for experienced professionals." Abike knew he was telling the truth. She understood how valuable the opportunity was. It felt bigger than anything she had ever dreamed of. She slowly stood up and wiped her tears. "Thank you very much," she said again. The HR manager smiled. "You're welcome." Then he opened one of the drawers beneath his desk. He brought out a key. He placed it gently on the table. "You can resume work next Monday," the HR manager said. "But before then," he pushed the key toward her. "This is the key to your house." For a moment, Abike simply looked at it. Then she carefully picked it up. Her hands were trembling. She looked at the key. Then she looked at the offer letter. Then back at the key again. It still felt like a dream. After speaking for a few more minutes, Abike thanked the HR manager once again. Then she quietly left the office. When she stepped outside the building, she stopped for a moment. She looked up at the sky. She tried to stop herself from crying again, but the tears refused to stop. She smiled through them. Then she carefully placed the letter and the key inside her handbag. A few minutes later, she entered the nearest bus heading home. When she finally arrived home, she saw her mother sitting outside on a wooden bench. The moment Abike's mother saw her daughter, she quickly stood up. She had been waiting ever since Abike left that morning. Before she could ask a single question, Abike walked straight to her. She pulled her mother into a very tight embrace. The tears she had been trying to hold back finally came again. "We made it, Mama," Abike said. She repeated the words again. "We made it." Abike's mother immediately felt the emotion in her daughter's voice. Her own eyes filled with tears. "My daughter," she said softly. "What happened?" After a few moments, they slowly released each other. Both of them sat down on the wooden bench. Abike smiled through her tears. Then she told her mother everything. She told her about the offer letter. She told her about the salary. She told her about the allowances. She told her about all the benefits. Finally, she reached into her handbag. She brought out the key. "Mama," she said softly, "the company gave us a house." Abeke's mother looked at the key. For a few seconds, she could not speak. Then tears flowed down her face. Slowly, she went down on her knees. She lifted both hands toward the sky. "Thank you, God," Abeke's mother said. "Thank you." She continued speaking through tears. "Thank you for remembering us." Abeke quietly sat beside her mother. She also looked up. Neither of them had ever imagined that their lives could change this much. Just a few weeks earlier, Abeke had used almost all the money in her pocket to buy a loaf of bread for a stranger. Now, because of that single act of kindness, they had been given a future they had prayed for over many years. That evening, Abeke called Miss Debota. Miss Debota was at home with Machi Baram. The call was placed on speaker. The moment Miss Debota answered, Abeke's voice became emotional. "Good evening, Ma," Abeke said. "Good evening, Abeke," Miss Debota replied warmly. "Ma, thank you. Thank you for everything. You have changed our lives." Beside her, Abeke's mother wiped tears from her face. She also spoke. "God bless you. Thank you for helping my daughter." Miss Debota smiled. Then Machi Baham spoke. "My daughter," Machi Baham said, "you do not have to thank us." Abeke listened quietly. Machi Baham continued. "The kindness you showed me was simply priceless. You deserved every good thing that has come your way." Miss Debota smiled. "My mother is right," she said. "You earned this opportunity." Abeke could no longer hold back her tears. "Thank you," she said once again. "I will never forget your kindness." After speaking for a few more minutes, the call finally ended. That evening, Abeke and her mother sat quietly together inside their small apartment. Very soon, they would leave that little house behind. The future they had prayed for had finally arrived. From that day forward, the lives of Abeke and her mother would never remain the same again. This story teaches us that kindness is never wasted. Never look down on people because of their clothes, their job, or the struggles they are facing. A small act of kindness can open doors, change lives, and bring blessings in ways we never expect. What do you think about Abeke's story? Would you have done the same for Madam Chibaram? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. We would love to read your comments and hear from you. Another beautiful and inspiring story will be coming your way in a few days, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. That way, you will be the first to know when our next story is uploaded. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a like and share it with your friends and family so they can enjoy it too. Thank you so much for watching, and we truly appreciate your support. See you again very soon with another wonderful story.